as we present Starr King Elementary School's Excel Academy. I'm Principal Darlene Martin.
Oh, I'm Trisha Quinn. I'm a 4th grade teacher.
Bronwyn Baker, 4th grade teacher.
Awa Compaore, resource specialist.
Katie Kurtzman, 2nd grade teacher.
Rachel Bell, Earth.
Herman Shepard, 3rd grade teacher.
Tessa Lee, 4th grade parent and 6th grade parent.
Megan Mackey, teacher librarian.
Sil Granado, Swag State program director.
And right over there is our coach, Stacy Affleck. All right, as you can see, we're a big, diverse team. We're committed to our work. We have a warm and engaging school of 350 students and a very supportive parent community. But we have a big problem. Starr King is segregated by race, language, and socioeconomic status. These are two of our 4th grade classes. On the right is our general education class. All of the students are black and brown, and they walk across the street to school from the Potrero Public Housing. On the left is our Mandarin immersion class. All of the students are white or Asian, mostly white or Asian, and they come from throughout the city, and on the whole are much, much wealthier than our general education students. As you might suspect, these disparate ends of the population lead to disparate outcomes in our standardized assessment scores. Here are SBAC scores. On the whole, we score as well or ahead of the district, but when you disaggregate by subgroups, you can see our disparate outcomes. In addition, our GE program really doesn't have an identity. So when you come to Starr King, you can study Mandarin or you can go to school. This leads to some hard feelings between our students sometimes, in addition to some of the trauma that our students from the public housing are already experiencing. It leads to a lack of engagement. We think this is unconscionable. We've actually been working for over 2 years to think of solutions to this problem. We believe our most disadvantaged students deserve their own academy and a much more equitable education.
During our boot camp, we designed the following statement to address our challenges. So we will develop a social justice magnet program that addresses the following components. So first, students will learn through technology. Next, the community is a resource and a focus of the program. And finally, the program is built on and promotes student strengths through the use of exhibition for portfolios, so not just through scores or formalized assessments. And then through our Discover phase, our very first day right there, we really thought that we were going to focus on technology. But then we also realized a few days later that we still wanted to do social justice. So we went to Malcolm X Academy and June Jordan to learn more about their programs. And then we talked to Agency by Design to learn about their makerspace. And finally, we went to an Ed Tech conference to learn about how to incorporate technology into the classroom.
And as we continue to go through the discovery phase, we had to determine how were we going to approach social justice in our elementary setting. So as we went back to our challenge statement, we really wanted to look at social justice as a curriculum. But through our collaboration with Zaretta Hammond, it was discovered that we should really be looking at the structures that we use to teach our children. And then as we continue to kind of go through that discovery phase, we reached out and worked with our diverse team, collaborated, and we really wanted to approach social justice as a content area and as a process area, making sure that when we're considering the content that we're providing for students, that we take in our student and community perspectives, and that we also take into consideration the process that we're teaching our children about social justice through, making sure that we are taking into consideration the routines that we have in place, the opportunities that we have for them, and then the access that they have to certain materials to make them achieve to their highest level.
Our work in this process has been informed all along by our students. We observed that our students would benefit from more exposure to just anything or everything and an increased amount of background knowledge. We heard students say that they want experiences, some of which were limited to things that they've already done in the past. We also were informed by our students' families. The loudest sentiment that we heard was that we need to have more than just hope. That hope is nice, but we need to take action.
So throughout our design and develop these, we had so many ideas that we wanted to pursue, but ultimately we were really inspired and guided by what we heard or didn't hear from the students. And what we realized is that our kids sometimes don't know what they don't know. So throughout the process, what we learned is that social justice became this thing about access, exposure, opportunity, more learning experiences. So our theory of change, which was surprisingly kind of like, maybe not that surprising, different from our initial design challenge, was if we design an elementary curriculum that uses student strengths by learning through experience, reflects and involves our families and community, and provides tech as a tool, then students will be more engaged and persevere through academic challenge so that they are empowered to become leaders and lifelong learners. So although this was not initially one of the preconceived notions we came to the design challenge with, it was something that really grew out of our learnings and the iterative process of the earlier phases. And what we love about it is that it perfectly builds on our students' strengths and their needs, as well as those of our site, our teaching staff, and our family community.
So we founded or discovered an experiential learning framework to guide our development of curriculum for our academy. It's a meaningful framework that will take us on experiences that our students can reflect on and apply in their learning. The experience phase, they will actually be hands-on and doing activities to open their hearts and minds to this new learning. An example of this is
going to 2 different missions in order to learn about this era of history. First, students will go to Mission San Juan Bautista to learn about missions from a largely Spanish perspective. Then they will go to Mission San Francisco de Asís to learn about missions from a largely Native American perspective.
And then in the reflect phase, we'll come back to the classroom and sit down and actually think about our learning. We will reflect on their reactions, their observations, and take it in new ways. An example of this is...
After students go on the field trip, they'll go back into the classroom and work in partners in order to compare and contrast their 2 experiences. They'll focus on ideas such as architecture, the lifestyle, and most importantly, the perspective. As a whole class, we'll come together and have a discussion which synthesizes the information that we've learned from both experiences, and individually, students will answer the question, how are Native Americans treated in the missions?
And then finally, we get to apply. So they'll get to connect their learnings to their own life, and then they'll have to apply it in a new situation to critically think. An example of this is...
Prior to this, students will have learned how to research information and also write opinion essays. So in order to do deeper research on the missions, students will read primary sources and find out more about mission life. Then they'll restate their opinion on how Native Americans were treated in the missions and find evidence that supports this in the primary sources and in their experiences. They'll write a 5-paragraph essay and turn that into an online zine. This online zine eventually becomes part of their online digital portfolio so they can reflect on it in the years to come.
Okay, we need to finish very quickly.
So as we roll this out, we're going to have our wonderful 4th grade teachers continue their experiences over a month, 2 experiences a month in the spring semester. Remember, these experiences are not just going on field trips, but again, utilizing that community, bringing community leaders and bringing professionals into our school. In the summer, we'll have a week-long Teacher Excel Academy where we create that curriculum. And then in the 2020 to 2021 school year, K to 5 GE, every class will have 1 to 2 experiences a month. The PD will continue for the teachers to reflect and plan and readjust. And then we'll have a family dinner each trimester to highlight, present, or for a student to highlight and present a piece from their portfolio. This is really innovative for us for a couple reasons. We are not a collaboration school. We have next to no collaboration, and so having collaboration both along the grade level strands in GE and across program strands in Mandarin Immersion will be a big improvement for us. And then second, we're working with our student strengths. Instead of trying to fit our students into this traditional school model, we're flipping it so that the students can learn by doing and be successful.
So our desired outcome is that students will be learning through activities that are meaningful and relevant to them to build agency. They'll develop their academic identities, showcase their strengths through and skills through portfolios, apply skills independently, and then they'll be able to take multiple perspectives.
And we're asking the $22,500 for extended hours for our summer planning academy, our monthly teacher PDs, and for our trimester family presentations.
And now that you've heard from us, we would love you to hear from our students, and we ask the same question to our students that are in the programs.
Oh, we are not categorized. For our future. Because we get to learn new things. Where we could help one another. To get along with other people so we could come all together as a community and learn about other people.